viewers through the use of this public information. All videos, songs, and graphics used in the video belong to their respective owners. I claim ownership of all produced video content on this channel and video. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
HeSpoke Fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke Fashion. I'm so bad. HeSpoke Fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to HeSpoke Fashion Live. I am the host, Dayline Thomas, the one and only. Listen, go ahead and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that we're live, and we have a great show in store for you tonight. Of course, we're discussing the actual Bachelor, the Bachelor with Matt James. Yes, we have a great show. We have a great topic, and we want to dig in. But go ahead, if I didn't tell you, go ahead for welcome to tonight. I know you're getting ready to do whatever you have to do on Sunday. But listen, I'm so glad you took the time to share with us. Go ahead and hit that like and share. Go ahead and tell everyone that we're on live. And I'm telling you, let's get right into the show tonight. So first of all, let's talk about this episode 4. So what we have here on this particular episode, I thought it was a really good episode. We saw that they were actually, they threw a monkey wrench in the game on this particular episode. Just imagine for a moment, if you had a few weeks to get to know a few people, and you had already developed some type of friendships and maybe even more with some others. And then all of a sudden, they picked 5 other people to now join in. Wow, let me tell you, it may have been a good thing for Matt James, but let me just say this. It was not a good thing for the other contestants. And then it dawned on me in that moment that there are certain things that I noticed with each of the young butterflies. Yes, that's them there. I'm telling you, there was things that I noticed. And that's what our topic is going to be about tonight. We're going to talk about how to make a first impression a lasting one. We're going to give you 5 tips. That's right. 5 tips to make your first impression a lasting one. I want you to understand that, first of all, this is a competition. The Bachelor is a competition. All of those beautiful butterflies are competing for the affections of Matt James. And I think somehow along the way, they began to become so comfortable and they forgot that they were actually in a competition. And so when these other 5 beautiful butterflies came onto the scene and entered the contest, they were all taken aback. Why? I believe, like many of us, they did not make a great first impression. Let me tell you, you only get one time to make a first impression, one chance to make a first impression. And so they did not make a good first impression. And, you know, sometimes, you know, and even myself, you know, you go and you meet people, and maybe the first time you meet them, you know, you're trying to fill them out, and maybe you don't come dressed to impress. Come on, have you ever heard that term, dressed to impress? How many of you try to dress to impress? Go ahead and say, look, I dress to impress all the time in the comment section. Tell me, do you dress to impress? I mean, I know we've already talked about this. Most of us that love to dress and love to dress fashionably, we don't dress for anyone else but ourselves. But it does not help, or does not hurt rather, to get the compliments from others and to impress others. No, that's not the end game. That's not even your goal. But it does not hurt to leave a good impression. And so some of these women fared far better than the others when it came to the first impression. And so I want to give you, because again, I don't want you ever to go into a situation where you're meeting someone or meeting people or introducing yourself for the first time. I want to make certain that you give the best first impression that is a lasting impression. So let's start with the first tip in our 5 tips. The first tip is make sure that you scrutinize your wardrobe choice. That's right, I said it. Make sure you look at the person in the mirror. What are you wearing? Make sure you scrutinize that. Listen, if I were you, I wouldn't wait for someone else to do it. It may be too late, right? I mean, have you ever, perhaps gone somewhere and, you had on a nice skirt and, you thought it looked good. You checked it out in the mirror before you left, and maybe you just checked it out. You did a quick glance and say, yes, it matches the top and the shoes look great. And you went out to wherever you were going, and you and your girlfriends were there together. And then your girlfriend looked at you and said, "Oh, honey, your skirt is not turned all the way in the back. It's twisted." Now, if you had a good girlfriend, she'll tell you. But sometimes, you and your girlfriend may be fighting for the same attention. What happens then? Perhaps your girlfriend makes a better impression than you do. So I don't want you to miss anything. I want you to make sure that you scrutinize your wardrobe choice. Listen, you may have on the best brands, but it's not always about what you wear. It is always about how you wear it. I want you to look at this video. I want you to look at this young butterfly, and I want you to see an example of what happens perhaps when you do not scrutinize your wardrobe choice. We'll be right back after this video.
I'm Kimberly. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. Nice to meet you guys. I'm Kimberly. Nice.
Wow. Did you see that? I know it was a very short clip. We don't have a lot of time, so we're just going to give you these short clips. Nevertheless, did you see her name was Kim Lee? And I'm telling you, I happen to like the outfit. I happen to like the outfit. But wait a minute. Did you scrutinize your wardrobe choice? Did this choice in your fashion actually meet the occasion? Was it the right one for the occasion? Have you ever gone somewhere and you feel like the person that you went with is actually setting you up because they didn't tell you that where you were going, you should have dressed a little differently? And you got to that occasion and everybody was dressed up and you had on like casual Friday. Listen, it's not just about what you have on. It is it appropriate for the occasion? And I like Kim Lee, but unfortunately for her, she missed tip number 1. And guess what? Unfortunately, she did not get a rose from Mr. Matt James. Wow. How about coming late to the party and then not making an impression? You don't want to do that. If you're late to the party, you want to make an entrance. That's right, I said it. You want to make an entrance, and that helps to make a lasting impression. Your first impression can be a lasting one. Let's go to tip number 2. Sorry, Kim Lee. Tip number 2. I want you to make sure that you scrutinize the fit. What are you talking about? I'm glad you asked. When you scrutinize the fit, this is what you do. You make sure that if you purchase it off the rack, that it fits where you want it to fit. Come on. I know sometimes you like the things to fit snug around the waist and maybe a little snug on the hips. Come on, I've seen you. I've seen your Instagram photos. Come on. But you want to make sure that it fits appropriately. You want to make sure it fits just like you want it. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share a little secret with you. When you buy it off the rack, it's not tailor-made. It's not customized for you. But if you have a good, guess what? Tailor. They can then customize it to fit you. So look, go and invest and do a Google search, find the tailor, the seamstress in your area that can produce and make it fit just like you do. Once they measure you and you tell them, I like it in here and I like it out there, listen, they will then customize whatever you buy off the rack just for you. I'm going to tell you, you have to scrutinize the fit. Let's look at this other young lady, this beautiful butterfly, and see whether or not she scrutinized the fit. We'll be back.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Oh my goodness, it's so nice to see you.
Good to see you too. What's your name?
Michelle.
Michelle? Matt?
Nice to meet you.
I'm happy you're here.
So nice to see you.
And where are you coming from?
I'm from Minnesota.
You're from Minnesota?
Yes.
I haven't heard the accent yet.
No, you'll hear it.
I'll hear it?
You'll hear it, I promise.
Okay, well you look incredible.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It's so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you as well.
This is so proud.
Wow. Did you see that? Did you see Michelle Melly? No, I'm just kidding. But did you see Michelle? I'm telling you, she looked wonderful. That dress, you have to make sure when you wear a dress like that it is tailored to you. You have to make sure that it fits your physique. Look, don't be afraid to make sure that it fits. Don't be afraid to customize it for you. I'm telling you, I was impressed by Michelle. And let me just say this about Michelle. Michelle was one of the 5 that was late to the party. But Michelle made such a great first impression that even though she was the last to the party, she had a full day's date with Mr. Matt James. Yes. I'm telling you, when you make a first impression that is a lasting one, doors open for you. Yes, they do. They open for you. When you make a great first impression, it doesn't matter where you are. Of course, we're talking about a dating show perhaps, but I'm telling you, if you make a great first impression on your interview, I believe you'll get the job. Yes, I said it. You have to make certain that when you walk into that interviewer's office, that the first impression they get from you before you say a word. Remember, we told you that fashion speaks. Before you say a word, your outfit has already got you the job. I believe it can happen. Listen, I've seen it happen. You have to make sure you scrutinize the fit. That's tip number 2. Let's go on to tip number 3. I'm telling you, I applaud Michelle Young for her efforts. But tip number 3, this is a doozy. You got to make sure you check the attitude. Check the attitude. Does it match your attire? Listen, I want to appeal to the brothers. I'm going to appeal to you real quick. Listen, have you ever saw that beautiful butterfly from across the room? And she was dressed. She had checked that wardrobe. She made sure everything was fitting just like you liked it. Everything fit. It was beautiful. And then you approached her. You got enough confidence to approach her. And when you approached her, her attitude was the worst. Well, let me tell you, it happens. Unfortunately, it does. Yes, it happens. But I want you to understand, women, that my butterflies, I want you to understand that it does matter. Your attitude does matter. Does it complement your attire? You have to ask yourself that. Check your attitude. Let me ask you a question, and you can answer me in the comments. Has anyone ever said to you that perhaps you need to check your attitude? Wow. Listen, it happens. But I want to make sure that at least you acknowledge the fact from now on that when I want to make a great first impression, I need to check my attitude. I want to go on and watch this beautiful butterfly in this next clip. And she basically, I want to tell you, her attitude definitely matches her attire, because she was put in a situation where many of us, our attitude would have risen in that moment. So let's go to this clip, and I'll be back after this.
I'm Catalina.
Catalina.
Yes. So I'm from Puerto Rico, and I also had the privilege to be Miss Puerto Rico Universe. But what I want to tell you is that now I'm here to hopefully becoming the queen of your universe.
I like that.
Oh my God. Hi, everyone. I'm Catalina.
Yes, yes. What a beautiful butterfly. And then she made an impression. Listen, she had her sash, she had her tiara on, and she was definitely walking in all of the elegance of a queen. I'm telling you, Catalina Morales, a beautiful butterfly. But let me give you a little backstory, because Miss Catalina, of course, as you saw, was a beauty pageant winner. She was Miss Puerto Rico, and she had everything to show that it was evident that she was a queen, unlike Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria, on the other hand, she had a tiara, but she was not a queen, and she did not have the attitude to match. Let me tell you what happened. Catalina, after she left out from meeting Matt, she walked in with the other contestants. And I can tell you, it was a very uncomfortable room, but she was confident. She knew she had the right attitude. When she walked in, Miss Victoria says, "Oh, you have a tiara. Oh, that belongs to me. I'm a queen." And guess what she did? She pulled the tiara off of Catalina's head and put it on her own.
Oh my God!
Let me tell you, some of us, not only would that tiara have come off in that moment, the high heels would have come off, the earrings would have got the Vaseline out and put it on and got ready for a match, right? But listen, Catalina had the right attitude even in that moment. Let me tell you this. Let me just share this. When you have the right attitude, you can go into any situation and you won't have to fight for yourself, because other people will fight for you. You don't have to do it because you have the right attitude. And she had the attitude to match her attire. Yes, she had on the tiara, she had on the beautiful gown, but she had the personality to match that. And, you know, I can go on and on about Miss Catalina Morales, but I want you to know that tip number 3, you have to check the attitude. Does it match your attire? Listen, I'm giving you 5 tips. And if you've missed those tips, let me tell you, tip number 1 was scrutinize your wardrobe choice. Tip number 2 was scrutinize the fit. And tip number 3, was check the attitude. Does the attitude match your attire? 5 tips, and we're on tip number 4. Tip number 4 is simply be bold. Don't be afraid to take a risk. That's right, I said it. You have to be bold in your wardrobe choices. You have to be bold when making a first impression. Listen, don't miss your moment. You have an opportunity to make a great first impression that is a lasting one. So take advantage of it. Be bold. Be bold. Don't be afraid to take a risk, to take a chance. I want you to see in this next clip how this beautiful butterfly, she was bold, not only in her wardrobe choice, but in her action. We'll be back after this.
Hey,
Hi.
what's
What's up, Matt? It
How you
is
doing?
so great to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you as
My
well.
name is Brittany. I am from Chicago, but enough of all that. I want to make up for lost time.
Who is that? Is she kissing you? Ew, 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 ew. This isn't fair.
I'll see you inside.
Nice to meet you.
I feel disrespected. I'm gonna vomit. Ew, why is she walking like she hella owns this?
Wow, wow. Listen, Brittany was bold and beautiful. The bold and the beautiful. That's where they got it from. She was bold. Not only was she bold in kissing a stranger. Look, that's the first time that Matt James, the kisser, was caught off guard. But she made a wonderful first impression. Yeah, I did say Matt James is a kisser. He is a kisser. But she caught him off guard, and she made a wonderful first impression that was a lasting one. Not only that, but I'm telling you, that beautiful gown, that wardrobe piece, that was appropriate for that moment, and she was bold in that moment. You got to be bold. You definitely have to be bold if you want to make a first impression that's a lasting one. Let me tell you, we're almost to the end of our 5 tips. Go ahead and tell your girlfriends, you have to come on. You got to join. Go ahead and hit like and share. Join us in the comments. We want to have a conversation about The Bachelor and perhaps about these 5 tips. These 5 tips to make a first impression that is a lasting one. Let's go on here because Brittany, she impressed me, but there was one other young lady that impressed me. And tip number 5 is simply this: be you. Yes, be you. Authenticity is always rewarded. You have to take advantage of the fact that you were born an original, don't die a copy. You were born that you are you. Yes, don't go into an interview trying to be someone else. Don't go out on a date and try to be someone else. Don't pick the fashion choice, the wardrobe choice that doesn't identify who you are, but identifies you as a copy to someone else. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you. Instagram, where you can go and just click through different pictures or photos of outfits. Listen, it's a wonderful thing to be able to do, but I want you to make sure that you don't lose your own identity just following after someone else. It's great that you follow these different celebrities. It's great that you follow different people. It's wonderful, but take what you can from them and make it your own. Take from them and make it your own. Don't be a carbon copy. Maybe you'll grab this from this one and grab this from that one, but make it your own, because that's what style is. Fashion is just what you could buy. You could buy fashion, but style is who you are, and you have to have a sense of style. And let me tell you, I believe this next young lady showed forth her own style, and she was comfortable in her own skin. We'll be right back after this.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name?
Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Why do you get to come in halfway?
Wow. Did you see? I know it was just a short clip, but Ryan, let me tell you, she's very comfortable in her own skin. She's a dancer, a choreographer. She didn't go in trying to be someone else. She was very comfortable in being herself. And guess what? Being you is oftentimes what we men want. Listen, this show, this whole platform is about women's fashion from a man's perspective. And I'm telling you what we men like. We like you being your authentic self. We want you to be you. Come on, we can fantasize about these different celebrities and all of those things, but when we meet you, we don't think we're meeting them. I know your cousins and them told you that you look just like Beyonce. Yeah, I said Beyonce. But if we don't think that you're Beyonce. We didn't try to meet you to meet Beyonce. We want you to be you. That's what's important to us. The real you. And listen, I'm not going to make any jokes about lashes today because that may be part of you. We enjoy that. We just want you to be you. We don't want you to be lost trying to be someone else. We want to get to know the real you. And when you are you in your first impression, it leaves us a lasting one because we know who you are. And so listen, those are our 5 tips. The first tip, scrutinize your wardrobe choice. Tip number 2, scrutinize the fit. Tip number 3, check the attitude. Does it match the attire? Tip number 4, be bold. And lastly, tip number 5, be you. Now I want to shift gears here. I want to show you, because I think they made appropriate fashion choices during this episode. You know, sometimes it's hit or miss, but these 5 beautiful butterflies, they made a very lasting impression. And I want to just show some of the things that they wore. So let's go ahead and let's show those clips here. So first off, we have a beautiful butterfly here. I think this is Ryan. Yes, Ryan Claytor is her name. And she was wearing this beautiful number by Giovanni. Yes, it's a bit pricey. But listen, when you're being bold, when you're being you, sometimes, like I said, take a risk. It may be that this time you had to save up a few months to buy the bag. Be bold. Sometimes it may be that you have to save up a bit to buy the lovely dress as Ryan did. But you can get that dress again at Giovanni. So I want to introduce you to certain brands that you may not be used to. Because listen, I want to help you to be the beautiful butterfly that I know that you are. Some of us, you know, you have access to finances to be able to purchase lovely wardrobes, but you really need someone to show you how. This is what we're here for. So let's look at this. This beautiful number that Brittany Galvin was wearing, I'm telling you, I told you she was bold. This outfit is $449. It's from Renee the Label. I know many of you in the audience may have never heard of her, but check her out. Look at her website. Go out there and find something that fits you. Yes, you're buying it off the rack, but of course you can have it tailored and customized just to fit you. But this beautiful number is $449. Let's move on to the next. Now, I think this is pretty funny because, listen, she had a perfect attitude, and she had on this dress from Fashion Nova for $32.99. Wow. Now, that doesn't take much, but I would be cautious with this outfit on $32.99. I wouldn't want you to stand by anything that, you know, could catch it on fire, you know, for $32.99. They may be at risk. I'm telling you. But hey, listen, sometimes you don't have to spend a lot of money for something that fits you. Come on, be bold. Take a risk. If it looks good on you, listen, it will help you to make a good first impression. Let's move on to the next. Yes, I really like this number. Yes. Let me tell you, I was impressed by Michelle Young, and Matt James was as well. But this beautiful outfit that she had on for K-Town Couture was $629. Again, a beautiful item. Listen, once we get to go outside again from this pandemic, we're going to be looking for galas to go to. We're going to be looking for banquets. Listen, we're even going to be looking for the church fashion show. Whatever we can dress up, I'm telling you, we're going to dress up. We're going to look wonderful. And this is what you want to do. And listen, K-Town Couture is a brand that you want to patronize. Go look it up, search that Google search and put it in there and go out there and see what fits you. Let's move on. All right. This is wonderful. I think that perhaps we have come to another segment that I want to move forward with. I want to show you the young ladies that I believe they made a great first impression, and that's why they're still here. When you make a first impression that's a lasting one, you will last. All right. You remember Abigail Herringer? You remember she was the one, I believe, on the first show that she was the first to receive a rose. A beautiful young lady, but she keeps it going. She made a wonderful first impression. She knew the 5 tips before I even shared them with you. She knew the 5 tips, and she was able to make such an impression on Mr. Matt James that, guess what? I haven't seen her. She hasn't gotten much camera time since the first 2 episodes, I believe. But here at episode 4, she still gets a rose. Why? Those 5 tips. Those 5 tips will help get you the rose from your boo, your potential boo from Bay. It will get you the rose. Come on. You got to make sure you get these 5 tips down pat. Let's go to the next one. Piper James. Yes, Piper James made a wonderful first impression. I'm telling you, the attitude is very appropriate. The wardrobe is always on point. And listen, I really like this number. Let me ask you a question. What would you do to this particular outfit that she has on? Come on, my fashionistas, put it in the comments. What would you do to bring a little bit more life to this outfit? I'm telling you, wearing black is always appropriate. But what would you do to give it a little bit more appeal, a little bit more pop? Listen, we just celebrated our first vice president, female woman vice president. And we all celebrated with wearing the chucks and the pearls. I think the pearls will look wonderful with this outfit. And you know what else I would do? I would even do some jewelry. I would do maybe some bangles on those wrists. Yes, I would do that. I'm telling you, you can get those fashion tips here. I'm going to share with you things that you can do. And I'm going to bring some of my fashion industry friends on so we can talk fashion, so we can help you, again, to be the beautiful butterflies that you are. Let's go to someone else. Let's go to the next one. Yes. Lauren Maddox. So let me set this up. Lauren Maddox is a corporate attorney from Miami, Florida. And Lauren, this particular episode, they had a segment called Would You Fight for Matt James? Would you fight for Matt James? And guess what they literally had to do? They had to fight. They had boxing matches where they had to spar with the other contestants. And when they first said this, I'm telling you, Lauren was a bit timid. I thought she was afraid. I said, oh my goodness, she's going to get in there. She's just going to start windmilling. It's going to be embarrassing for her. But nevertheless, Lauren got in there and she punched Miss Serena so hard that Matt James jumped out of his seat. He wanted to stop. Yes, when she hit her, I'm telling you, I felt it. my nose started to hurt. You know, it was a Mike Tyson punch. I mean, out in 4 seconds flat. But nevertheless, Miss Lauren, she's made a wonderful first impression. This is a beautiful dress. Again, you always have to have the LBD. The LBD. What's the LBD? Come on, my fashionista. The little black dress. You always have to have one that's always appropriate. But again, what would you do with this little black dress to make it pop? Put it down in the comments. I want to see what you would do to make this number pop. All right? Great. Let's move on to the next. Oh, this is one of my favorite. Bree Springs. Listen, I'm telling you, Matt is a kisser, but I feel that there's a bit of chemistry between he and Bree Springs. She's wearing this lovely number. She always, she does not disappoint with her wardrobe choices. She does not disappoint with her attitude. Listen, those 5 tips, they will work for you. If you have found that maybe you're not making great first impressions, if you think that perhaps people that you've met the first time and when you talk to them again, you say, well, you know, why you didn't call? And I said, well, certain things, something came up, maybe it's because you didn't make a first impression that's the lasting one. Miss Bree Springs did. Let's move on. All right, this is Miss Serena Pitt. We talked about her on one of our other shows. She's a very petite young lady, and I'm telling you, when Lauren hit her, it hurt. And let me tell you, I really like the way Matt James responded. Matt James made grown man moves when he responded, and let me share why. Because Matt James showed great compassion towards Serena. Why? He didn't like the whole fact that they had a boxing match and they were fighting each other. Why? Because real men don't want to see women fight each other. You hear what I said? Real men. Now those young boys, they'll pull out their phones and start recording, start streaming right away. But real men don't want to see women fight each other. And guess what? We don't want to see women fight at all. That's right. We don't want to see it. And Serena Pitt, a beautiful butterfly, but she has kept it going with Matt, and she's still receiving roses. Listen, we've had a great show on tonight. I thank you all for joining us. But listen, I want to pay great honor and homage to a beautiful fashionista before her time, Miss Cicely Tyson. Yes, I applaud Miss Cicely Tyson. We lost her just the other day. A beautiful actress, a wonderful actress. And let me tell you, she was a fashionista. I'm telling you, fashion gives you an advantage. Fashion, and listen, look at this number she has on. I'm telling you, you could take her anywhere and not be embarrassed. Yes, beautiful Cicely Tyson. Listen, I was one I played the trumpet in high school, and I love Miles Davis. And when Miles Davis and Cicely Tyson got together, let me tell you, they were royalty in the fashion arena. That Miles Davis, that guy had style. I mean, a wonderful musician, but he was very fashionable. And listen, when you're dating someone fashionable, I said it before, you have to match them. Can you match their fly? And let me tell you, Miss Cicely Tyson did a wonderful job in matching his fly and just being fly all by herself. Listen, you can be a butterfly just like she was. I'm telling you, I was so honored to be able to view her in the roles that she played in. I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite roles that she played in when she played in alongside what's her name, with How to Get Away with Murder. Viola Davis, yes. When she played alongside her, I'm telling you, she should have gotten an Emmy for her playing her mother. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, this woman was very fashionable, and she is going to be missed. We honor you, Miss Cicely Tyson. We honor you. And let me tell you, you always have to have someone that you can look up to. I'm going to leave you with this. You always have to have someone that you can look up to. If you are so high up that you can look, the only way that you can look is down, then you're missing. You have to have someone that you can look up to. Let me ask you a question. Who in the fashion arena is someone that you look up to? For me, it was my mother. She was a fashionista way before her time. And people remember her as being someone who knew how to dress, not just at church on Sunday, but at work from Monday through Friday, and even on Saturday at the mall. Who are your fashion role models? Who do you look up to? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to bid you adieu. I have my own personal fashion role models that I look at, and I say, wow, that guy really knows how to put some clothes together. Who is that person for you? Write it in the comments. And if it's someone that's part of your Facebook, share it with them. Share that you look up to them in terms of their wardrobe, in terms of their fashion. Listen, I'm glad that you joined us on tonight. We've had a wonderful time together. I want to ask you a question. What fashion choices and what fashion statement are you going to make next week? I know we're still sheltering in place, but when you have an opportunity to make that statement, remember those 5 tips, because you want to make a great first impression. But I want you to make sure that you're bold and that you're being you. No one can beat you being you. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful, blessed night. See you again next week.